All right, so let's take a look at creating some scenes in Adobe Animate to see how we can organize our shot and keep our project clean and tidy so that everything is easy to manipulate when we have to make some changes or go in and animate. So let's check it out. So I've got my scene here. Let's quickly take a look at this. Is the same project that I was working on in the last assignment. And I scrub through here. If I just play real quickly, you can see that my tree's moving. I've got a moving camera, and I've got some things going on here. Now, what I'd like to do is actually animate this moon, and I'm going to focus on the moon for a second and the sky changing, and then I'm going to come back to another shot of this. So what I want to do is basically duplicate this scene to create a new scene. So I'm going to go into my scenes. So I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to look for Scenes. There it is, Scene down there, or the F2. There we are. And where are we? Here we are. There's my scenes, and it's going to attach right there. So let's click on that. And what I can do now is click the plus sign to add a scene. I could duplicate a scene, or I could just delete this scene. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and duplicate this scene, because then by duplicating this scene, it's going to keep everything that's there. It's literally take a copy of it, and I can make some changes. So let's go ahead and rename this. I'm going to call this one Moon Set. Okay. And this one is I'm going to call this one Opening. So I've got Opening and then my moon setting. Double click on Moon Set, and you can see up here in the upper left corner I've got Opening and I've got moon set, and you can see when I change those up here in the upper left corner, they also change in the scene for us as well. So I know which one I'm working on. Now in my moon set, I'm going to go ahead and remove these keyframes here, because my camera is not going to animate. So I'm going to remove clear keyframes. There we are. In fact, I'm going to remove the classic tween for now, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera tool. There we are, and I'm going to push in and pan because I want to get that moon setting for us. So that looks like a cool shot right there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is animate my moon. So here's my moon at the start. Grab my selection tool. I've got a keyframe there, and I'm going to make this one real quick. So maybe it's 2 seconds long. Come up to 2. I'm going to say insert keyframe, and I'm going to grab that transform. Whoop. Let's lock some things down here real quick so I don't grab the wrong layers. I'm going to go ahead and lock everything else that I don't want to move down. So I'm just grabbing my moon. There we are. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this down here like so. Like maybe just drop straight down. And I'm going to select these right here. In fact, I don't need any of these other frames. So I'm just going to, let's see if I can just, yeah, perfect. And I'm going to right click and say clear frames. Remove frames. There we are. So that's as long as my scene will be. If I had all those extra frames out there, this scene would be that long. I don't need to do that. I want to keep this one like a nice shortcut scene. And now I'm going to select my moon, right click, and I'm going to say motion tween on that. I probably can't do that because I already have my keyframes set. But that's alright. Classic tween will work just fine for this. And boom. Okay, if I press enter, there it goes. Perfect. Enter. Now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to animate my sky, because I actually have a couple different things going on. I've got a night sky and I've got my sunset there. So what I'm going to do is grab my night sky and I'm going to animate it. So say about there, and then we're going to go under properties, and we're going to go under color effects alpha. Okay, color effects alpha, and we're going to start it at 100%. Color effects alpha, make it 100. Perfect. Now I'm going to come out to this one, and I'm going to this other keyframe that I've just created, and I'm going to bring this down to say just a little bit. Why not? Something like that. So now I've got that going on. But of course we need to animate that. So again, grab my keyframe and say classic tween. There we are. So now if I press enter and watch this, now it's going to fade out into a nice little sunrise as the sun's coming up if I have that coming up from another spot. Again, to do that, I had gone out to 2 seconds. I went under my color effects and I chose alpha to adjust the alpha on that. And then I dropped it down to say 22%. I could have gone all the way to 0. And then I went back to the beginning, did the same thing, alpha, made sure it was at 100, and that's how I did that. So now that I have my moon setting, awesome, I'm going to say, I'm going to duplicate that moon set again, and I'm going to say duplicate scene, and I'm going to say moon set, and I'm going to call this one a wide shot. So moon set wide. So I've gone in, I've emphasized the moon setting, and now I'm going to pull back out to my characters seeing that moon set. There we go. Okay, and there you go. That's how to create your scenes. Now when you export, you'll just go File, Export, Export Movie, or Export Video Media, excuse me. And you can do scene, you can do your entire movie. In this particular case, since we have multiple scenes, we're going to do the entire movie. H.264, and I'm going to go ahead and click Export on this. And it will take a minute to export, and that is how you export your scenes or export your movie with multiple scenes, and how you can organize your shots cleanly without having to do all of this work in one simple timeline. I hope this helps in your projects, and I will see you in class.